this is very surprising. Joe Rogan is saying something that I was saying exactly, and I didn't realize as I was ending my last episode. But as I went deeper in, he's saying something that we're going to get right to it, but this is what I've been saying when he talks about who's going to watch The Watchmen. This is episode 1977. We're at 55 minutes, 44 seconds. Let's get right into it. I've been saying this
all over her, and you're like, well, this is a problem because she's losing trust in me. It's like, well, yeah, but she shouldn't trust you because she found out what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, it's so.
But isn't it who's going to watch The Watchmen?
Yeah.
Isn't that it? Because when you have any kind of a position like that, where you have just insane power over information and policy and what gets done, and no one is managing it like from outside of it, that's saying, hey, what are you doing? No, that's the Constitution. You can't do that. Don't do that. There's no like oversight where there's someone who is completely objective, is loyal only to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and lays out like the rules. These are the fucking rules for America. Like, you can't operate outside of these rules just because you want your guy to win. That's un-American. That's as un-American as anything else that you could be prosecuted for. That we get. Think about what Assange did. What they're trying to get after is what's more un-American. Lying to the American people or exposing the American people to information that has been hidden from them that's deeply disturbing, that would change their opinion on things.
And that's
now. This is exactly what I was saying when he's talking about who's going to watch The Watchmen. It's who's going to making sure that they follow the rules. Like, here are the rules and you have to stay within the rules. It's us. We are the Watchmen. Like, who watches the we are. We're supposed to be doing that. We as a collective are supposed to be doing that. As good as local government is, there should be some sort of non-biased people entity that is in the government auditing them on everything that they do. And I know it sounds like a gigantic job, but why not? It's going to make things better. And the position should get rotated out constantly. That way you can never get one of these politicians to be like, hey, listen, if you just kind of let us do this, we'll cut you in. We'll get you you can leave here worth $30 million. That can't happen. The guy gets rotated out in like a month. And there should be enough of us to do it because we're the people. Like, think of the United States. How many people? Like, not even counting illegal people. How many people? There's 400 million people. Like, come on. If we count the illegals in here, we're at like 420, 430 for sure. For sure. Like 100%. But that's what should be happening. We should be the ones watching them. I'm going to let this clip run a little more because they're talking about a lot of good stuff. But yeah, it's supposed to be us. What do you think of that? You think that there should be an entity like that exists? That we should be like, it should be like I just said, a person entity. And I don't just mean a person. I mean like we the people. Like someone just walking around with a shirt that just says we the people, and they just get to look into every little thing that every politician's doing. They get to come into the White House, see what's going on. They get to sit in on meetings. They get to hear the decisions that are being made. And then they come to us and they say, hey, listen, this is what they're doing right now. And it's against, I have all the rules here. It's against this rule, this rule, this rule, and this rule. So we need to stop this immediately. Do you guys give me can I go and stop it? Yes. Against the rules. Go and stop it, please. Like, that should be a thing. I know it sounds ridiculous, but what's more ridiculous? What we have going on now or that premise? You know what I mean? I'll let it run a little bit more. They get into some good stuff. Let me switch over here.
Criminal. I mean, like, expose actual war crimes.
Like, what is America? That's the thing. Like, what are we? Are we the shining light of the world? Are we this incredible garden of creativity and innovation? Because we're that too.
Yeah,
we're a wild, fucking amazing experiment in self-government. But we got to stick to the fucking rules. And if you get people in power and no one is able to stop them from not sticking to the rules. And then when they do violate the law, there's no consequences. We forgot what it is to be American. It's not good for them. It's not good for us. It's not good for any of us. We're all in this together. You can't do that.
Yeah, well, like you said, we are kind of all of those things.
Yeah.
You know, we are this, like, you know, it's like in the wise words of the great Eminem, I'm all for America, fuck the government. You know, like,
but
we're
not
great.
even fuck the government, fuck the bad parts of the government. There's people in the government that are trying to do the right thing. I know there are. There's people in the government that are patriots. There's people in the government that really want this place to get better. You don't think Bernie Sanders wants the government to get better? I think he definitely wants the world to get better. I think that guy realistically wants the world to be a better place. I think Tulsi Gabbard realistically wanted the world to be a better place. She was in government. She was a congresswoman for 10 years.
But look what the system did to a good congresswoman.
Yeah, but you know what? She recognized that she wasn't willing to be compromised, and she removed herself from what she thought was a corrupt organization.
Right, but then, like, so what does that say about Bernie Sanders? But I'm just saying that's kind of the way the system works. So it chews up and spits out the people who have some integrity. Not all of them. There are some who you know, like stay in. But there is some. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard got called a Russian asset by Hillary Clinton, by the establishment of her own party.
Wild.
You know, a woman who was embedded in a medical unit in Iraq.
Served twice.
Really saw the cost of war.
Really saw it. Developed that white streak in her hair from that.
Yeah, the war that Hillary Clinton lied us into and voted for. And then she turns around and calls her, like, she says she betrayed the country.
It's wild that they think they can say that, because they used to be able to say that with no recourse. They're operating in a world where there was no internet. They still have that programming from the world of no internet.
Yeah, and also operating in a world, you know, it's kind of like what you were talking about with, like, the CIA getting so much power that it just becomes so corrupted. And I think a lot of the story of America and how we've just become so degraded is really kind of goes back to the collapse of the Soviet Union and the fact that what Charles Krauthammer called the unipolar moment, that in the 90s it was like, oh, for the first time ever, that's it. America is the lone superpower. And this really is like what all of those guys said, like all the neoconservatives, like the Project for a New American Century and those guys, they were like, this is our moment. We can do whatever we want. We are the sole power in the world. And what they wanted to do was a lot of really awful things. But it almost created so much power and so much hubris that they just think they can get away with everything. Like, there's no limit on what they can do. And it turns out that actually you're not gods. You're just people. And all of this carefully perfect, like, okay, well, this is what we'll do, and then this is what's going to happen. You know, we'll overthrow Saddam Hussein, and then democracy will sweep the region. And it's like, no. It's actually not going to work out that way.
I like this guy. I don't know too much about him, so if you don't like him, I don't know too much about him, but I like what they're talking about right now. And first I'll say, 100%, I know I've made my videos about Tulsi. I've made like 2-3 videos, you know, exposing her WEF connection, but she definitely doesn't deserve that treatment of being called a Russian asset. That's just wild. And that's just what they used to do back then. Like, nowadays, it's just Nazi, sexist, anti-Semitic, all those names, bully, misogynist. They'll throw all those names at you. Back then, it was like, well, let's throw a little Russia link at them. I mean, they even did that with Trump, right? Like, anything to discredit you and have people looking at you like, maybe there's something about you I can't trust. And then what Joe said about there being good people in the government, I 100% believe that. As much as I look at it and I go, oh, like, there's so much to not trust, and as much as I've talked with you guys in the comments and we talk about politicians and all, you can't trust any of them, there has to be some. Again, I've said this in the comments even. I look at politicians the same way I look at police. There has to be some good ones. It's impossible for there just to be no good police officers. Of course there are. There are many good ones. There has to be good people who are in the government. People who really want to see good things happen in their communities, people who got into it for the right reasons, people who don't know anything about stocks and inside trading. They just do their job and they just want to see things get better. There's for sure guys like that. The problem is all those good guys, they're out of the meetings when they get together and they say, listen, we're going to buy 10 million of this and 10 million of that, and then we're going to pass this and you're going to pass that, and then we're going to be good. The good guys are left out of that conversation. Everything that we see, whenever we see something bad happen in the government, whenever there's something to call out, the good guys are left out of that. The good guys are just sitting there like, I can't believe this just happened. When were they doing this? They were doing that. They're too busy doing work. They're too busy being the guys who actually read the things that they're asked to co-sponsor and sign off on. They're too busy doing their actual job. Meanwhile, the bad ones are doing all the bad things. I really do believe that. I think there are a lot of good ones. There's good people everywhere. In every race, religion, creed, position in government, in every single job, there are good, amazing, hardworking people. And just in all of those same things that I mentioned, there's bad people. That's how it really is. But I don't know about you, but I know in my mind, and I know the human mind quite a bit, we tend to always focus on the negative way more. Way, way more. The good will come and we'll take the good and it's good. Okay, let's move on. But the negative comes and we focus on it because that's what we're built to do. That's what our brains are built to do. But other than that, I just wanted to ask you guys, what do you guys think about the conversation that they're having? Go check out the whole episode. I'm telling you, it's episode 1977 with Dave Smith. I'm throwing links in the description, the Spotify links in the description. If you don't have Spotify, I don't know, get it. I mean, you don't have to pay for it. It's the free version. You can just get it. I'm not getting paid by them or anything. I just think it's a really good episode to just sit down and listen because there's a lot of things that I'm learning in this, and I'm sure you'll be able to learn something too. All right, I am out. Thanks for watching.